Hi, I'm Great Hager, and welcome to part 3 of the Cult of Ursun design series. Today will be the first day, I guess, that we'll be looking at user interface design. First, though, we'll do a recap of the design that we have for the Cult of Ursun, which includes bear hunts, charms, and some form of shrine or progress indicator for Tsar Boris. Okay, so let's start off by saying hello to one of my cats who's just decided to come stand next to the microphone. So, Inabran, how are you going? Yeah, she wants to be quiet. Okay. Alright, let's start with a recap of what we have and what the Cult of Ursun is. Okay, so for anybody who is watching for the first time, the Cult of Ursun will be most likely the first mechanic to be added in my upcoming Warhammer 3 mod, Eternal Dynasties. This mod will include, once I've had access to Immortal Empires, ported versions of my Hammer of Grugni, my Bretonnian Crusades, and my Skaven mods. Yeah, that's pretty much what it will be. So let's just have a look what the Cult of Ursun itself will be. So this will be available to the Kislev factions. Initially, it was just going to be for Tsar Boris, but it seems that bear hunts, which is the mechanic we settled on, is so prevalent in Kislevite society that it makes sense for everybody to have access to it. It's just everybody will have access in a slightly different way. So bear hunt. So the Cult of Ursun is made up of 3 things. We've got bear hunts, which are a similar style to the monster hunt mechanic in Troy. We have charms, which provide bonuses on the bear hunts, and these are similar in style to the virtues in my Bretonnian Crusades mod. And then a shrine to Ursun, which will probably be similar in style to the ancestral renown mechanic that Belagar Ironhammer has in my Hammer of Grugni mod. So bear hunts they can be started by spending devotion, because there doesn't seem to be too much use for devotion for Tsar Boris's faction. Boris has the ability to choose from 2 hunts at the start of the game, whereas the other factions only have they don't have a choice, they just have the one, and they don't get that choice until they've ranked one of their lords up to be a high priest, which is what Tsar Boris is. So these hunts will differ in devotion cost, duration, and possible bonuses that can be earned. The standard bear hunt has 30 devotion, and it has 4 stages, and you can have up to a maximum of 6 units take part in that. The greater bear hunt, 50 devotion, has between 4 and 6 stages, and a max party size of 9. And there'll be, as possible expansions, a cursed bear hunt where you're hunting an undead bear, and chaotic bear hunts where you're hunting a bear affected by one of the 4 chaotic gods. So the more units that you have in the hunting party, the less respect is shown to Ursun, which means that the player will earn less of Ursun's favour at the end of the hunt if they're successful. The hunt is a series of dilemmas with possible battles, so it's, as I said, much like the monster hunt in Troy, but also quite similar to the trade caravan mechanic that Cathay have. So a new dilemma system, which I'll be rolling out, will ensure the interface has the required appearance that I want. And I'll adapt that for Repence's mechanic, because that was the one thing that was stopping me from getting a mechanic out for Repence in the Bretonnian Crusades mod, was that the dilemma system was putting up roadblocks, and this will allow me to circumnavigate those. Each dilemma will have 4 options, which will give different bonuses and increase or decrease the respect that's shown during the hunt. Excuse me. Let's just skip down to point 3. When a hunt is completed, the player will earn bonuses based on the respect shown. Somebody's brakes are a bit squeaky. Based on respect shown to Ursun during the hunt, there will be larger bonuses such as permanent upgrades to specific unit types, and Zarboris will gain materials for the construction of his shrine. Now, each of the 3 lords that we currently have for Kislev will concentrate on different unit types for their upgrades. So Zarboris will have the Zarguard, the Warbear Riders, and the Elemental Bear, which only he will have access to that. Kostaltin, Streltsy, and Winged Dancers, and Katerine will go Ice Guard and Snow Leopards. Now, Kostaltin and Katerine may be able to unlock the Elemental Bear upgrades with enough Ursun's favour. Have not decided on that yet. Part 4, bear hunts have a cooldown. So this is based on the law that says that the Kislev may never hunt a bear in winter. So we'll have a cooldown of starting at 12 turns, which will be reducible through charms. Perhaps showing great respect during a hunt, earning more of Ursun's favour, might give one-off reductions to the cooldown as well. A respectful hunt is based on the dilemma choices made by the player and units that compose your hunting party. So in the law, it says that bow and spear are considered the most respectful weapons to use on the hunt. So if you use just simple spear infantry or archers, excuse me, I've just got to wait for this truck to go by. If you use spearmen or simple archers, then that will gain more respect from Ursun. Whereas if you use cavalry or gunpowder units or artillery, then that will reduce the amount of respect that is shown. However, if you are using a simple spear and bow army, the fight at the end of the hunt to kill the bear will of course be more difficult. Solar Dasher, hi, welcome to the stream. How are you going? Question, so this is a mod you are working. Yes, this is a mod that I am working on, which viewers have helped to design. So I've done 2 streams for this already over the past 2 weeks, and the ideas have come from myself and from viewers of the channel. And excuse me. And the idea is to involve people as we go forwards with the design of the user interface and the design of... I'm trying to think what the other parts are. The design of the user interface, the writing of the different dilemmas, texts, and all that sort of stuff. Yes. So at the moment, I'm just recapping what's been decided upon. So I'll just jump on and continue with that. Where was I? Part 6. The Lord that leads the bear hunt will receive traits at the end of the hunt. Now, there are 2 traits that we'll need. After one successful bear hunt, that Lord will become a priest of Ursun. And if you use that Lord several times, you can get him to become a high priest of Ursun. And once you've got him as a high priest, that's when the Katerine and Kostaltin factions will be allowed to choose from 2 different hunts, rather than just being given the one. There will be some... Well, I'd like to include some unique traits based on some of the dilemmas. What those are, I don't know at this point. I guess that will be something we decide in the future stream. Part 7, Cursed Bear Hunts. See the player hunting an underbear. I think I mentioned that. That's a possible future expansion where we'd be hunting a skeleton bear. And then this Part 8 is about Chaotic Bear Hunts, where you're possibly hunting a bear of Nurgle or bear of Tzeentch. Again, that would be a possible expansion. I guess the last most important, well, not most important part, but the last part, 2, charms. So charms will provide a form of progression for the player. As they earn Ursun's favour, charms will be unlocked. So if you've seen my Bretonnian Crusades mod, it's very similar to how the virtues work there. Possible charms will include reducing the cost of bear hunts, reducing the cooldown duration between bear hunts, unlocking army abilities, which are based on the divine law of Ursun, which is detailed below. So we've got 3 army abilities from the divine law of Ursun. We may make up more, I don't know. Part 10. Bear hunts may include battles from dilemmas, including, if possible, ambushes. That one is a kind of iffy one, because I don't know how to set up an ambush in the scripts. Possible expansion. Player may choose to tame the bear if they are a high priest or playing as Tsar Boris. This would allow a version of the bear to the Regiment of Renown system, so it can be recruited at a later date. So that's kind of based on what I have for Ungrim Iron Fist? For Ungrim, a Caricadrin in my Hammergrugni mod. And part 12, Ursun's favour is the resource earned from respectful bear hunts which are completed successfully. This resource can be spent on upgrades to unit types related to the faction. See section 3. And that is that. That be the recap. So, with that in mind, so we've got 3 main parts that we need to find a suitable user interface layout for. So just taking a sip of my coffee. So the bear hunts, which as we have here, have between 4 and 6 stages. So we need to be able to show all stages on screen at once. We have the charms. Now, how many charms we allow the player to access throughout their progress, I don't know. For the number of virtues that the Bretonnian Crusades have, is 6, if I remember correctly. Might have to double check that one. Let's just have a quick look. Let's go to the website and let's have a look at the video that looks at the Bretonnian Crusades. Need to refresh my memory on that. Where is it? That's the trailer. That's using it. That's the overview. That's the one we want. Oh, okay. I guess I have to watch an advert.
I lost my beer guy without
Watching an advert on my own channel. That's ironic.
The Manan Guard are an anti-large...
Okay, let's see. We want to go to... not the Lady's Blessings. Crusades and Hereditary Banners. Virtues. There we go. Alright, so let's zoom in. Alright, so there's 6 virtues in the Bretonnian Crusades. So we'd probably go 6 charms. Now, I kind of like the way the Crusades virtues are laid out here around this. So, yeah, it would be nice to have some similar UI element that we could create, which has the 6 charms. Obviously, not the same layout entirely, but you know, if we could get access to the 5 or 6 charms and mixing them in with the ones that reduce cooldown and cost. Alongside ones that give you battle abilities, much like this one does. This is also reflected, if I remember correctly, on the main screen. Where is the picture of the main screen? Must have one. No, every time I open up a screen it closes the others. There we go. So we've also got the UI element on the main campaign screen, so it'd be nice to have something similar here. Maybe not representing the bear hunts in full, but representing the charms that the player has unlocked. And I guess we could also have a similar thing where you can access a bear hunt from here. We'd have it possible from the screen that's related to bear hunts as well. Oh, hang on a second. Sorry, I just noticed that my cursor is not active, which kind of makes it difficult to see what I'm pointing at. Display capture, properties, Capture cursor. Okay. Give it a
Higher.
few moments and the cursor should appear. There we go. Alright, so this button at the top, we could have that to start a bear hunt. Which would be good. It would be nice to have a UI element to tie it into the main bar. Let's have a look at what we currently have in the way of UI elements for Tsar Boris. Let's see. Where might I find a picture of Tsar Boris? Warhammer 3. Oh, campaign. Solidasha. Okay, cool. Pay yourself. Pay myself? I'm not sure how I would do that. Okay. Let's see. I want to find his main campaign screen. Does that have his toolbar on it? I don't think it does. What's the size on that? 1142. Oh, darn it. I think it's cut off. Yeah, it's cut off. Alright, that's not useful. Need one that shows me the full. That one might be alright. Except it's too small. Let's take this and drag it into here. And increase the size. Okay, alright, so we have... Let's just cut that out. Okay. Then paste. Don't need the entire screen. Just want the toolbar as a reminder of what we already have in place. Okay, so... I need to zoom in a little bit more. Watching ads on your own video. Yeah, that's a weird one. I'll tell you. Thankfully, it was just the one. Okay, alright. So we currently have the treasury. Okay, the chaos realm mechanic, which hopefully is not in the Mortal Empires. What does that button do? That brings up the screen with the 4 different... what would you call them? Rituals, perhaps? The 4 rituals and the race between Katerine and Kostaltin. I think that's what that brings up. Then we've got our amount of devotion. I'm not quite sure what that one is. And then I think these are just active bonuses. So if we are to add a UI element to this, where would we fit it without it being too intrusive? Morning memes of Warhammer, how are you going? So, do you know about Malal? The name is familiar. But this time of morning I can't remember a damn thing. Give me a moment. The Hierarch of Terror and Anarchy, the Renegade God, the Lost God. He's a Renegade Chaos God. Okay, alright. Turned against the others. Haven't really had much to do with Malal. I mean, since he's not one of the big 4. The 5th Chaos God, yes. Yeah, since he's not one of the big 4, he doesn't really get much airtime. So, yeah. I wonder, though, if Creative Assembly might do something with him at some point. It would be interesting if they did. Maybe instead of a race pack expansion, it would be a morale expansion. Although I don't know if he has any... I don't know if he has any followers which are well received. Okay, let's assume... Let's just flip this around. Let's assume, probably a bad thing to assume, but that this is not going to be in the Immortal Empires. Which means that we're going to have a gap. Well, it's going to be smaller, but there'll be a gap. Or maybe... undo cut. On the Bretonnian Crusades, let's open up a Bretonnian Crusades actual file. Alright, so we're looking at modding Warhammer Bretonnia Crusades. I think it's toolbar components. Then I'm looking for what? It's not that. Select Crusade, target Crusade. No, that's a button. I think I'd remember these better. Seals? Nope. Nope. Can't remember which one it is. Oh no, that was a specific one I was creating for Bordeaux, which I never released. Crusade Army Mustering Panel, no. Crusade Factions button. Crusade Manager, might be that one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Alright, so we have this for Bretonnia. If we could have something similar, which has a Kislevite theme, which we could hook in... Deselect. I don't want to do that. Let's drag that onto there. Why won't it let me drag that? If we could, and that's way bigger, trying to sort of scale that down a moment. Maybe down to 50% might be the best. Just see it. Alright, so if we could get maybe something was... getting something underneath the button would be tricky, because I'd have to take off all of the items off that toolbar. We don't want to do that if we can. We want to just assign ours into the toolbar without messing around with that. I mean, one way of making it look like it's underneath is to actually have our UI element have a divot out of it, so it looks like the button is sitting on top. So you can do something like that, where you make it look like the elements behind it. So we need something which would then have let's go. Would then have, just going to use black for the moment. Cannot request because of a program error. What was wrong with what I was doing? Oh, okay. My Photoshop just decided it was time to crash. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Okay, let's restart that. I don't know what I did that was so egregious that it had to crash. Photoshop. Muse of Warhammer. He is recorded... Oh, he is retconned out of existence, but he was in canon before Slanesh. Oh, okay, alright. If he was retconned, I don't think we'll see him then. No, I do not wish to do that. Okay, alright, file new, and we need to do 1000 by 700 pixels, which is the size of the screen that we're creating. I lost that toolbar as well. Where was it? It was this. Let's zoom in. Alright, so we need to find something that's suitably Kislevite to fit here to show our charms and or the bear hunt. So I mean, they've gone small scale here for this button. They've just got the button and they've got a little bit of flare around the sides. We'll probably go larger scale. So I've already got a folder open which has all the Kislev UI elements that CA has in their pack file. So let's have a quick scoot through this and see if there's a background element that we might be able to appropriate for background of a button. So we have the bear hunt button already. Just opening up the screen that has that on it. So this is the pack file that I've created so far. There's not really much to it, but so we've got a Cult of Ursun button. So this button could be on the main campaign. So we need a background for that. Did I have? Oh, that's a template file. Oh, I've got there now. Alright. It's template. No, that's not what I want. I did have a folder open which had UI elements I was creating. I guess I closed it. So let's browse through here. Warhammer, Kislev, Temple of Ursun, buttons. That's not the one. Background buttons? No, that's not it either. Oh, hang on. I put this under Warhammer General because it's a campaign button. There we go. Cult of Ursun. Yeah, there he is. Right, so he's up there. So this guy could end up on the main toolbar, possibly. I don't want to cover that one. Let's size him so he's the same. I'm just going for a rough layout. Don't really care if it's completely accurate. I want to make that smaller. Yeah, smaller. Yeah, and I think that's circular enough. Not overly fussed. Yep. Okay. So let's just put that by the side. So we need something to go around it, which can contain our charms. So let's jump back into that screen which had the Kislev thing, the Kislev UI elements. So there's nothing really here that's leaping out. These are all just button backgrounds and separators. Some square buttons, checkboxes from frames. Nope. A couple of background color palettes. No, there's not really much to it. It's all quite boring. Is the word. So there's nothing really fancy enough. Well, that one doesn't really strike me as being much very Kislevite. Right, maybe we'll find something in the main UI elements. So let's have a look in skins, Warhammer 3. Oh, hang on a second. Is there skins? So we look at Kislev. Alright, so this is skins Kislev. It's pooled resources, not really going to be helpful. I don't think reward frame is. Maybe that could form the basis of something, but that's not very Kislevite-y. It's more of a sort of a chaosy thing with the skulls. So I'm not quite sure why that's in the Kislev folder. Seems a little bit odd. Okay, so there's Kislev Pro, which I think is the prologue. What have we got here? Some empty buttons. Some icons. Nothing there. And then this is the one that I was in a moment ago. Alright, so we need to have a look in Warhammer 3. Right, so battle building icons. Let's see what this is. Okay, I think that none of that's useful. Demon Prince, no. Great game ritual animations, no. Test subfolder. Okay, kind of seems pointless. Alright, so frame pieces. Frame pieces. That's not very Kislevite. I think that's going to be the issue here. Finding something that's appropriate for them. May have to do a more general search on the net to find some images that we can try and adapt. For the Bretonnian Crusades, it was quite handy that there was some stuff that was easily retconnable, but I think this one might be a bit more of a challenge. Let's see. We've got the button missions holder. Could that form the basis of it? That's a possibility for part of it. So if we just grab that and chuck it over there, we're going to have to scale that down as well. Let's get that. Oops, let's get that bare button though. So let's scale this down to the same size. Well, actually, no. If I do that, I'm going to have to be scaling everything down. Let's scale that button back up. Or quite simply, drag and drop it again. So I don't have to rescale it. And get rid of the old one. Put that one above. Alright, for now, we're just going to dump that there. And then we're going to grab this guy. We're going to have to scale it anyway, okay? I think about 80% should do it. Not quite. It's almost there. 77 I think is better. Or 75, because I want to see some of the edge. 74. Yeah, that'll do. Remember, this is just rough. Okay, so this is out of scale at the moment, but it gives us some rough idea of what might work. So if that's the main, if we consider that the middle part, and then we can have the charms around it in some fashion, and then the player can click on this button to start a bear hunt. And of course, if there's a bear hunt active, then the button will be disabled. Okay, so we need to find something that can go on either side, which can hold 6 icons. Now, as for the icons, for the charms, I was looking at Slavic symbols the other day, and I came across a few which I found interesting. Just have to find them. Alright, so Warhammer, Kislev, Temple of Ursun, charms. Let's open up the charms. So this is the charms PDF, which has the different charms that I've found. So I have that one, which was Kolyada, God of the New Year. There's this one, the Slavic symbol is Perun, the God of Thunder. Doesn't really look like thunder to me, but This one I think is probably more useful to us, is Horus, the god of the hunt. So I don't know whether I'll use these or whether I'll go for some more animalistic symbols, which look more like maybe animal cave paintings of hunts. That might be interesting actually to have a look for. But for the time being, let's just use one of these. So, where are we? Down here. And we'll just grab a blue one and an orange one, or gold. Just so we've got 2 buttons. Doesn't matter that they're the same. Just need 2 things to put on the background there for charms. Although we'll probably want to put empty charm buttons too, or empty charm hulls. So we need to go back into the Warhammer 3 assets. Let's see if we can... No, I don't think the Kislev had a background. No, it does not. Okay, so back to the main Warhammer 3 one. So we're looking for a circular frame with a black background. Pretty sure one exists. Circular frame with a black background, which doesn't have any adornments on it. Come on. Must be here. If not, we'll have to create one. Now, there's the one that they're using on the toolbar already for the for their screen that pops up. So all of these icons have been extracted from the Warhammer 3 pack file using RPFM. There are a lot of art assets, as you can imagine. Aha. Spell dial frame. That just looks like... I can make out that there's a frame, but it's not a very thick frame, so... I want something where the frame is a bit more obvious. That's an interesting one. Zinch worm manipulation. Oh, Winds of Magic, not worm. Winds of Magic manipulation. Actually, that is quite an interesting one. I wonder if we could take that for the charms. If each one of these lit up to show that the charms are... So if you had access to 5 charms throughout, and each one of these lit up, perhaps? I don't know. I like the look of this one. I might just drag this to the side for the moment. Alright, let's back into the folder. Oh, okay, and here's the segments that go alongside it. I may as well drag these out as well. Let's put them down the bottom left. Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And there we go. So we're gathering some UI elements that we might be able to use. Don't think the unit card selectors will be useful. Okay, alright, so we didn't find a frame with the black in the background, which was what I was looking for, so maybe just go for a frame and then fill in the background ourselves. So let's grab this frame. I think that might be thick enough. Oh, let's see if we can grab another one that's slightly thicker. Banner's frame, perhaps. I think it's a smaller size. When we expand it, it will become thicker. Let's have a look at the size on here. Okay, and then look at the size of this one. Alright. Once we've got these both down to the same size, we'll see which one has the thicker frame, and we'll use that one. Okay, so let's see. We want the frames. Not that one. I better start naming these, otherwise I'm going to forget what we're looking at. So let's say background, which means that should be the bottom there. What do we got here? Alright, so let's say that's the large frame, which means that this one is probably the small frame, and then this one's the bare button. Okay, alright, so the bare button should be at the top because it needs to appear on top of everything else. Alright, so let's scale this small frame to the size we want it. So we wouldn't want it the same size as... We would not want it the same size as the bear. Actually, that frame is pretty nice to have on top there too. Let's duplicate that. It's nice to have that on top of the button. So we're going to rename this one Bear Button Frame. Okay. Alright, so we want to take the copy one, drag it off. And, alright, so we've got these shards down here. We might not want them. We may want to get rid of them. I don't know. Alright, let's try maybe 60%. So if we go for 60%. Because we want these charms to be smaller than the main button. 60% kind of seems okay. Let's put a thing in that. Damn, that's large. That's probably gonna have to be down at 30%. Transform scale. 30%. It's roughly the same size. Bit odd how it squished off the bottom there when it resized. Same there. Took off the size, didn't resize very well. Let's delete that and try resizing it again, but not quite as small. If it's going to do that. Edit, transform, and damn, I don't think I put scale in. Edit, transform, and scale. Let's make sure that's doing them together. Don't know why it's moving that down. Don't want that to move. Alright, that will do, I think. What was that? 39%. Okay, it still cut the bottom off a little bit, but not as bad. And the size next to the main button, now that's too large. Alright, step backwards, transform, scale. Alright, let's go 32%. And then we'll put it behind that frame. So it needs to go behind this, which we want to rename to Charm Frame 1. And then this is Charm 1. Oops. Okay, so let's just grab him, put him there. So for the time being, that's right. So I was going to make this come down in size to see if it was a better fit. So we want to grab large, edit, transform, and scale, and then we want that at 32 or maybe 34. All right. So when we drop that down, it ends up being thinner. So we won't use that one. We don't want one that's going to be too thin. We need, because this is zoomed in, so if we look at what the actual pixel size would be like, we need to be able to see the frame, which we can just make out there. Although this isn't a proper sized image, is it? Alright, I think that's probably more than normal size. So that's what we're looking at currently. So we need some form of background to link this. Probably want to take this charm charm frame rather. Duplicate that. Let's call it charm frame 2. Okay, let's just grab it up here, and then we want a new layer. New layer. Okay. I want to select the frame. Charm frame 2. Let's select the background there. Then go to the new layer and paint that black. Okay, and then select and deselect. Now I want to get rid of everything because I do not want to merge all layers. I only want to merge the frame with that black background, which I'm going to have to expand out a little bit, I think. Edit, transform, and scale. And let's make that just expand a little. 2 should do it. Yeah, that'll do it. And merge. Okay, so let's bring back the background and everything else. So if we've got 5 or 6 charms the player has access to, we need to find a way of laying them out. Memes of Warhammer. Well, Warriors of Chaos possible rework. Warriors of Chaos possible rework. Is there some news about that, is there? I know that Cody Bonds did some video about a possible rework of Warriors of Chaos. Kaon gets the lore of magic of all Chaos gods. Kolek gets his dad's Sigvald, and the new Slanesh character gets Slanesh mechanic. Well, yeah, I think the mechanic that Slanesh currently has is not a lord unique to his faction. It will be for all Slanesh. It's the same with Khorne and Nurgle, and that at least that's my understanding. Archaon gets all laws of magic. I don't know if was Archaon a sorcerer? I didn't think he was really a sorcerer. Alright, let's duplicate these frame. What is that layer one? No, that's the frame. Charm frame 2. Let's duplicate that. Alright, let's say there are 6. Six charms to unlock. So let's create 6 of these. And okay, one more for luck. Alright, 6 frames. We've got frames. 1 is the one that's actually got a button in it at the moment. I'm going to have to merge them. Otherwise I'm just not going to work properly. I want to charm frame 1 and charm. So let's merge them. Layer. Merge visible. Okay, cool. Let's bring that up. Allowing them to build cities. The chaos. Yeah, well, they have to have something to stop other players from just coming and occupying the ruins that they've created. And having cities would be nice for them. Or having some form of fortress or base to spread out from. Chosen for each god. I imagine there would be a number of those. Charm 2. Maybe let's just zoom in. Make it a bit easier. Okay. Got the charm 3 frame. Let's still selecting the charm 2. Charm 3. Oops. Charm 4. Charm 5. And charm 6. Alright, so I need to find a way of laying these out around this guy. Let's just go to that background though. I don't want these spikes. I think they detract from it. So let's get rid of them. But we don't want a brush 300. So we want a smaller brush. And this doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be a bit rough. As this is just the mock-up. There we go. Okay, so what elements in the UI do we have that we could use? Something bear themed or a woody theme might be interesting. So let's have a look at what UI elements the wood elves have, perhaps. So it would be under UI skins. Warhammer. Here we go. DLC 5 wood elves. Let's see. What do we got here? No, it's not useful. Nor is that. I don't think a vine is particularly useful. Officer's title. No, that's not useful either. What is it, Lita? What's wrong? Can you come back in about half an hour? It's one of my cats wanting attention. Yeah, you're welcome to jump on the desk, Lita. Let's see. I don't think there's anything there that's useful, so let's go back to the main Warhammer 3. Alright, so we're looking for something that can act as the background for a frame that will connect 5 or 6 charms, which can be unlocked as the player progresses through the mechanic. This is always the tricky part at the beginning, where you're looking for the elements that could come together and actually work. What's this one? Oh, okay, it's not very clear. Compass holder. I don't know what that's used for. Okay. Demon Army ability bar lock. No, it's not going to be useful for us. Let's see. Come on, there must be something at least partially useful. Alright, these are all small icons. They're not going to be useful at this stage. There's a Khorne Army ability frame. That's not what we want. Kislev backgrounds, which don't really help us at this point. Although, would that help us? It's too small. We need a larger Kislev structure. Some ogres. SOM ability frame front. What's SOM? Kind of looks like it's Zinchian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if we can retcon that. If we take that, it's probably going to be too thin a frame. And let's transform and rotate that by 90 degrees. The other way. We need to then edit transform scale. I think it looks like about 60%. I think I just ended up stuffing that up. It needs to be tied together 60%. Okay, good, I didn't squish it. I thought I'd squished it for a moment. Bare button frame, let's put it above that. Alright, so maybe 60% was a tad too big, but that'll do for now. So with that, let's just kill all these frames for a moment. So we've got 5 little things prodding out. So I wonder if if we're going for 5 charms instead of 6. Let's ignore charm 1. Let's go and put this guy in that position. Oh, I think I just moved the wrong charm. Yep, I did. Charm frame 2. So I'd want it a little bit smaller. So transform and scale that. Let's go 90%. No, maybe 85%. Still want to be able to see the frame, but you want it to be small enough that it's not going to detract from the main button. So because of course I'm going to have to rescale them all. Edit, transform and scale to 85%. Let's see how this looks. This might look okay, it might look absolutely pathetic, I don't know, we're still in the early days. Edit, transform, scale. Hello Esri, how you going? Just been joined by another one of my cats, and she's about to jump down on the desk, so she might knock things over. Yeah, what are you doing, hey? You gonna sit there, are you? Yeah, there's not much room on the desk, I'm sorry. Okay, you sit there then. That's a good spot. You gonna peer into the microphone? Yeah, come on, you can do better than that. You want to do your proper lad purr. That's a bit better. Good girl. Alright. Transform scale 85%. How does that look? Not my favourite, but nah, that juts out way too far from the main toolbar. That's way too intrusive. Okay, let's forget that. I mean, is the button itself too intrusive? And maybe just that button is too intrusive popping out. How far? Trying to think if there are any other UI elements that you see which would intrude that far into the screen. Maybe. Let's have a look. I think Rokarth. Is it Rokarth? It's one of the Dark Elves has a mechanic. Malice. It's Malice. Malice Darkblade. Warhammer 3. That's not what I want. I want Warhammer 2. Malice. Excuse me, Esri. Malice Darkblade. Alright, I want to see his mechanic, if I can. Here we go. Let's grab this. Drop it in here. And let's have a look at the comparison, the size. Alright, so it doesn't intrude so much because it's built into the actual toolbar. So perhaps that's what we need to do. Instead of having it dropping down, we'll have it as part of the main toolbar itself. So let's move Malices to the side. And zoom in and move this up. Alright. So whilst this background element here seems suitable, it puts it too far into the campaign screen. I think it would just jut out. It's too distracting. Let's jump back to chat for a moment. Some memes of Warhammer has been busy typing away. Units of warriors chosen to each god. Sorry, I've got a cat walking in front of the screen. Monster Mortilect Beast and Slaughter Brog. In this way, chaos is finally fixed. A new faction mechanic of the gods. Evolve units into new beings like Q, Demon Prince, or Chosen, and incredible weapons, etc. Well, certainly sounds interesting. I don't know if Creative Assembly will go that far with their rework. I think they'll probably just do the basics to get them to a state where they're more playable. So I guess the basics would be just making sure that when you destroy a settlement that nobody else can take it, much like they did with the Beastmen, although of course they won't be using headstones. Right, that background doesn't work. So we'd need something to get this into the toolbar. So you've got that button there. So if this is going to be in the toolbar, it's going to have to be smaller. Oh, hang on a second. I just realised I'm creating this, but it's actually going to be smaller anyway. It's all got to scale down to that size. So maybe it's not too intrusive. Maybe I should be taking this onto a new file. Alright, let's go. Let's just copy this. Copy file, new. Okay. Really, is that the size? Nah, that's very small. Is it only 50 by 50? It doesn't seem. That doesn't seem large enough for everything that's on here to fit on there. Like if I take this background. Okay, I'm confused. Why is that background not fully visible? Why is it only partially visible? That's not making any sense. I don't remember. Oh, no. Okay, it does make sense. That's definitely not the right size. I don't know why it took the amount it did. Edit, copy, file, new. That's seemingly better. Let's make it a complete square, 105 by 105. Right, that's better. That's going to be large enough to hold those UI elements. Alright, so we want this as the background at the top, and we want it in the middle. So let's grab, what have we got, 105 pixels, so we want 52 and a bit, roughly by there. I don't think that's quite centered, so let's go one across. Okay, and then we don't need that. So we've got that as this bit. We want to get rid of those bits on the edge. Select inverse and then the eraser. Select, deselect. That did not work. Edit, step backwards, and edit, step backwards again. Select, deselect. All I ended up doing was just erasing the bit I didn't want to erase. Alright, let's zoom in a bit. Make it easier to actually get rid of that bit that we don't want. Alright. Okay, we're just... I guess I don't have to be too fussy. Oh no, I'm saying I don't have to be too fussy, but then I go and erase a bit that I definitely don't want to erase. I guess I don't have to be too fussy because there will be an element laying over this which will hide a lot of that. So Let's go back to the actual pixels again. Or maybe that's too small. We need to work with something a bit larger. So looking at this, it actually will maybe drop down a lot, but we've got to play with different designs, which I guess is part of what makes this a time-consuming thing. Usually go through maybe 4 or 5 different layouts before I find something I'll settle on. I think this might be one of those times where it's going to be about 4. Alright, so what do we want from this? We want the button, the bearer button, just the bearer bones. Alright, let's grab the button, and then we want to grab layer 1, which is going to be around the button. Cool. And then we'll grab just the charm frames. We don't need all of them because we'll just duplicate. Then that means on here we can actually get rid of all of these. Delete. I really wish there was a select multiple and delete, but unfortunately my old version of Photoshop does not have that ability. Delete this, delete the bear button, frame, delete the bear button, and delete the background. Because what we'll do is we'll make it in this and then just copy it across as 1, and that way we can scale it more easily without having to scale everything. Duplicate layer. Duplicate layer. Duplicate layer. One more time after this. I probably want to try and have those even. It means I need to select that one. So that's good. Oops, did not want to move that. I had the wrong one selected. That looks about the same to me. And let's do this one for the final part. Alright, delete that. Sorry, duplicate, not delete. I think that's roughly the same distance. Maybe that one on the left might be too far out. It's not that clear. Okay, so I think that layer has nothing on it, so let's delete that. And then let's duplicate each one of these, and then we'll merge them into one layer. But we don't want to merge everything, because we still want the originals there to play around with, if possible. Duplicate. Duplicate. Okay. So let's merge these. They are merged visible. And then if I hide that, we should have nothing. Okay, excellent. So let's grab this, and then let's scale this so it's appropriate size. This button is the same as that button. So I think that's about 55%. No, it's off a bit. I think it's more like 65%. Yeah, maybe that's right. Yeah, I say 65% is fine. All right, which means that that would slot in, not so much there. Scroll across. It's hard to place it really with that thing still there. Let's just do that. Right, view actual pixels. Okay. Even with it scaled down, it's still quite intrusive. Yeah, it's still a bit much. Alright, so that layout is not going to work. And of course we need the charms as well as being available on the campaign screen, which we might actually abandon anyway. We need them available on the main screen. It just doesn't seem to suit that screen. Okay, alright. So we'll consider this layout attempt 1, which does not quite work. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Alright, so when I was looking through the UI elements, apart from that one, which I thought might work, which does not, I think this one actually does have a chance. So once again, though, it's going to be a case of it's going to intrude a lot, which we don't really want. Let's have a look at the Returning Crusades one again. I don't think I had that intruding too far down. Yeah, that's not too far into the screen, so it's not too bad. I mean, it comes down a fair distance, but it's, because it's wider, it's not so obtrusive. And then, of course, on the main errantry banners screen, because we've got this background disc here with the virtues, it's not, yeah, it doesn't seem too out of place. So I need to find some sort of background layer to tie it into, not just the toolbar on the main campaign screen, but also whatever's going to be on the bear hunt screen. It's turning out to be a bit trickier than I imagined. I'd like to have some layout that's reasonable today. Once again, this is a very large UI element to be placed in there. Although, does it have to be placed on the toolbar? With my Hammer of Grugny mod, we have, it has the UI element placed along here, so we have the Ancestral Renown bar there with the Hammer of Grugny mod. I wonder if, instead of trying to attach it to the main toolbar, we just had the charms here. I mean, if it was using this, is that there, the same layer? If it was using that, and let's drag this over too. I mean, if these were off to the left-hand side, separate of the main toolbar, then we could have that as the Maybe the top of the bar. And then maybe the... where did the other screen go? Just want one of these. Let's minimize that. Maybe these then could be laid out underneath. Although that might look just odd. No, that does not work. Alright. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm all ears. I mean, I guess there's still... Let's just scale this for a moment. Maybe put that at 80%. Apply. Yeah, so it just covers that. We could maybe still get away with using... No, my mouse is playing funny buggers. Hang on a second. There we go. Maybe we could just get away with using these elements to signify that the player has unlocked charms. Because we just want to show the progression, right? The player doesn't need to know everything about the charm on this main campaign screen. But however, by just using colours, the player has no idea that that is charm related. It could be a weather thing. Light snow, heavy snow, blizzard. No, I do like the shape of this UI element. Maybe it just doesn't fit that. Maybe that better fits the creation of Ursun's shrine for Tsar Boris. I don't know. Hey Pezzy, any ideas? I'll take that to be a no. Alright, let's get rid of that and that. Which one's the bear? That's the bear. Alright. That's the only one I want to keep at the moment. Alright. We know that the bear button will be on the screen. Maybe we just have the same element that's being used for that. And we just have it for the bears, and the charms relegated to the other screen. Which means that I've been wasting my time and yours here trying to come up with the UI element for that, which I don't think is going to work. Hang on. Do I have my light pen? Let's see if that's working at the moment. Bear with me a moment. Jesus, dusty. What the hell is that? Okay. Just found something on my desk I don't recognize. Okay, it's been such a long time since I've used my light pen that I've got stuff stuck on it. I don't know how I managed that. Let's see, do we have the pen? Yep, there we go. Cool. All right. So maybe let's just grab a color and the pen, and 35 is too large. So let's drop it down to 3. That's too large. Oh, sorry, that's not 3, that's 9. Can't see. Alright, let's just maybe just do this in more broad strokes. So we've got our... Well, I can't draw a circle. We've got our bear button. Oh, that's pathetic. Alright, we've got our bear button. We want the charms somewhere around it. Well, we've tried having them stick out. Let's just go for a new layer. New layer. Alright, so by having them stick out doesn't seem to work. You've got this. What if we just mimicked this thing here? If we took this, let's just hide that bear. If we took this shape, and instead of it being these chaos things, it was our charms. So we had the 5 charms. Yeah, so if we had our 5 charms in a row, then it's not sticking down too much into the main UI. It's more in line with what the current UI design is. And we can use... where is it? I think it's in the Kislev thing. We could use some existing elements. Here we go. We could possibly use that, although that shape is going to make that a bit more difficult. That this thing has to be accessible somewhere in the files. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the same folder again. Don't want that one. And that panel must be somewhere. Alright, so there's the Zinch Winds of Magic one that I've pulled out already. Don't think we want anything with chains on it. That's not very... doesn't come across as very... oh, Kislevite. It's flicking all over the place. I do apologise. I guess this is the bar. Bar small. Bar top left, bar top right. Astral projection. What's that one about? No, that's got a very chaosy feel to it, I think. They're all definitely chaosy. Demon Prince is not going to be suitable. Advisor nameplate. What's this? That's not what we want either. Oh, this is turning out to be a bit of a disappointment. Oh, there we go. Alright. We may be able to adapt this. So we can have our... let's just drag it on so I can draw on top of it. Drag it on here, move it down here, and then onto the screen. Oops. Edit, undo brush. I want to move it. Oh, damn, that's large. Oh, okay, that's fine. For our purposes, it should be okay. Means we can actually just drag and drop those. No, I don't want to save anything. That was an accident. It's been a while since I've used my light pen, so take me a while. Oh, well, that's a hell of a scale difference, isn't it? Let's bring this background down to a more reasonable level. Let's make it 50%. All right. Okay, it's still out of whack. Let's scale this one up. Maybe 130. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so what we can do is, instead of skulls, let's go bears. And I think there's a bear icon in here. Pretty sure I saw one. If not bear, then we could probably use the Kislev dome, which I did see. Let's see. It's a skull, castle, sword. There we go. There's the bear. Let's try to get into here. Oh my god, that's huge. I'm not sure what the hell I just did there. Okay, I have a slight problem in that the window is now at the top. And I've got no way to access it to pull it down. That's a pain in the ass. Okay, let's just for now dump that there. Edit. Duplicate. Can I duplicate from there? No, I can't. Oh, yeah. Layer, duplicate. Okay. My tablet is messing me around. For some reason. Okay. All right. Which one is the circle? Nope. That one must be the circle. Layer. Duplicate layer. Alright. Let's just view the actual size of that. View actual pixels. Is that gonna work? You know what? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. No, that doesn't. But I think I've just realized something that will. Alright. These guys, these bears. There's no reason why they just cannot sit underneath here. Edit, transform, and scale that bear. put it down to about 60%. Yeah, that's perfect. So that could represent the charms. So we'd have our charm icon on this, and then for each one that you've unlocked, you'd have a new one across here. Let's duplicate that guy. Image layer, duplicate layer. Okay, let's move him across, and then let's duplicate him again. Let's just put 3 of them there for the moment to see how they look. And let's desaturate them so that adjustments desaturate. So if they're disabled, they'd appear grey. So if you haven't unlocked them yet, nope, that's the wrong one. I want image adjustments desaturate. Alright, so that might work. I think that'll work better. Rather than having a big obtrusive thing like that. No, I want to keep that one. Keep that one. Don't want that one. Alright, so if we go and view it at the actual pixels. Alright, so it's the same size as the other elements, which is good. It's not too obtrusive. You can tell at a glance how many charms you've unlocked. Oh, now what have I done? Window, documents, tile. Window, documents, arrange. No. Documents, cascade. Yeah, it's better. Kind of better. There we go. I can actually see the frame of this starting thing now. I'll fix up the other ones later. Alright, so that is much better because that's in scale. Now what we want also is the button on there. Alright, so we need to keep him because he's going to be important. Because we're going to use that background along with some icons that we'll find for charms. So this we're going to chuck. That didn't work. That we're going to chuck. We don't need it. It's too obtrusive. Which means we're not going to need this either. Just realised the microphone was pushed away, so it may not have heard me too clearly for a while. Alright, we want the button. Because I think having the ability to start a bear hunt from the main screen will be very handy. So let's go transform, scale that to 60. Not quite the size we want. 55 perhaps. Oh, screw it, let's go 50. And I know that it's covering the existing one that's there at the moment, but I don't care. We'll just have the two of them living side by side. We might put a little line behind these so that you connects these. Whilst I like the look of that one, that's not going to be useful for this. That one was too obtrusive. What do we got here? That's the empty screen. We're not going to have time to get to the actual screen itself today, so I may as well just close that. Not saving it. Malice Dark Blades thing, we don't need that anymore. Don't need that. Don't need that because probably going to end up changing the charms. Because we don't need these circular things. Don't need that. Goodbye to that one. Goodbye to that. goodbye, and goodbye, and we don't want to save changes to that. Alright, there we go, much cleaner. So we've got our button. My god, all of this messing around just to get to this. So we'll have the button, which will sit on that UI element that they use, which is part of the Warhammer 3. I think I saw it further down. Is that the same one? Pretty certain that's the same one. They've just faded it a little bit. Okay, so that with the button on top of that, and then to the right we'll have our charms. Now, each one of these will have, of course, different icons, which we'll sort out another date. Alright, so how would these translate to the main screen, I guess, is a question to keep in mind for next time. Sorry that we didn't really make very much progress here. If I'd seen this icon earlier, I might have just twigged. But it's always the way, I guess, with UI design. There's a lot of iteration. It's not the quickest of things to do. Yeah, so probably going to find something that'll just go behind them and thread them together. And then just maybe have them sitting off this underneath that, I think is maybe the way to go. Yeah, and then we'll refine this in the next episode and translate it into the main screen. Now, before I go, I did do a little bit of UI work offline, which I'm just going to show off. I need to find it, and it's Temple of Ursun. I think it was screens. Temple of Ursun PSD. Here we go. So, background color doesn't matter. That's just me messing around. The important part here is, let's just get rid of these. But the important part here is this. So for the bear hunts, I was messing around with the panels, so 6 panels, and I've come up with this sort of silhouette thing, where you see you got a picture of a hunter and some trees, and he's chasing a bear, and then he confronts the bear at the end. And what did I do? Yeah, so that's the sort of layout I'm going to go for the actual bear hunt panels. And as you're going through the bear hunt, they change color, of course, to signify that you've reached that stage of the bear hunt. So that's something that I intend to use because I'm very happy with how that's looking at the moment. There will, of course, need to be tweaks on it, which we can work on together. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. It wasn't that successful the day today, so I do apologize. Hopefully we'll make better headway on the UI next time. But until then, I'd like to thank anybody who dropped by, and hope to see you in the next stream. So catch you later.